uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing. Ooh, it's exciting. Whoever you're doing it to. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Bushka, and today's video is all about the AUG. We're going to be talking about AUG 101. What it does, the stats, the basic profile of the gun, where it sits in terms of the game, the meta, how you should be using it, and why I think it's just the most incredible weapon in the game right now. I'm also going to go a little bit down the rabbit warren on the history of the thing in regards to the game and how we got here with it. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, I'm doing a lot of these weapons videos. People seem to like them. Oh my God, this thing absolutely shreds. And those weapons videos are bringing a lot of new people into the channel. So if you are watching, and I know there's a lot of you watching, subscribe on up. Look at the damage output on this thing. And this is pretty crazy, just how far this gun has come. From being an also-ran in the world of 5.56 ARs to being the, in my mind, undisputed king of 5.56 AR gameplay. When the AUG was first introduced to Pubg Mobile, it fell afoul of this really odd Pubg Mobile game balance. In PC, all these 5.56 ARs had different statistics and different gameplay styles. And in Pubg Mobile, despite the fact that the Armory told us, like there's a video I did years ago about the Armory lying. It was so long ago. Everyone just assumed that the Armory was correct with the things that it had. And the Armory doesn't even exist anymore. But it used to be an Armory would show you the vital statistics of the weapons. And they do it by saying power 95. And like they all had different ratings, these 5.56 ARs. And I went and tested them and found that they all had the same damage and they all had the same rate of fire. And it was like, this is complete bollocks. And yet the AUG was in a crate. So it was a crate weapon that had exactly the same base performance characteristics of all the well drop weapons that you could find that were 5.56 ARs. We did some more testing and we found that the bullet speed on the AUG is slightly better. It's 937 meters a second versus the M416's 909 meters a second. And you're going to hear me talking a lot about the M416 because for better or worse, the M416, the player base considers the M416 the gold standard. And I understand that because it's very easy to use and it performs well and it's everywhere. And that's great. It is a well drop AR. That means it's easy to find. And if you can do things like this with an M416, then you'd be forgiven for thinking that it was the duck's guts. It's got good bullet speed. It's accurate because of that bullet speed and its low recoil profile. And it hip fires relatively well. The thing is, I went and did some testing and I measured the individual distances between the bullets in a recoil spray of the AUG, the M4, the SCAR-L. And the red line there is vertical recoil. And the blue line there is horizontal recoil. And what I found was that the average vertical recoil and the average horizontal recoil on the AUG was better than the M4 by a considerable margin. Hell, the SCAR-L's horizontal recoil was slightly worse than the M4's, but its vertical recoil was slightly better than the M4's. What does this tell us? It tells us that the AUG is an M416 that has 43 base damage instead of the 40.9 base damage of the M416. And it also has a 741 rounds per minute rate of fire instead of the 638 rounds per minute rate of fire of the M416. Which means the AUG is legitimately good at everything that the M416 does, but it does it faster and stronger. This is an M416 with better recoil, better damage, better rate of fire, better bullet speed.
Thank you.
It's incredible to me that people still leave this in a drop. It's becoming harder and harder to find empty drops. So there's still Mark 14 drops everywhere where no one's like picking it up. But you can set your AUG sensitivity settings up and they'll be basically the same as your SCAR-L and your M416 sensitivity settings. And I use the SCAR-L or the M4 as my baselines. And then you're free to reign. Like, it'll do everything. It sprays, CQC, single tapping. It's so good with all these things. And the fact that it's an AR means that you can put ergonomic grips and muzzle brakes on it and just have this crazy stuff, or a 50 piece magazine, and just have this crazy Godzilla of a gun that gets even more vibed up from the shop. And I can't, like one of the things I've been doing lately, as you've probably seen if you're watching the channel in any great amount, is I've been doing a lot of games where I will run different weapons, like Tommy guns, like this, or SCAR-Ls, or M762s, or AKMs, or MG3s, or UMPs, or Vectors. I'm running all different kinds of weapons because what I'm trying to do is get footage and gather that footage up and turn it into some kind of video content that you guys can take something from in your gameplay. And it's given me a real appreciation of exactly what quality in PUBG Mobile is. And that quality, without a doubt, is the AUG. It sits at a level above all the other ARs. It doesn't have the base alpha damage of a 7.62 AR, as in 47.9, but it's got enough at 43 that it's strong, and it doesn't have the raw limb damage of an AKM. Not much does, but it fires so fast. It doesn't really matter. You can out-duel guys with MG3s and that on quick peaks. You can, I mean, this poor bugger here, pre-firing that corner, he knows I'm there. It doesn't matter. The AUG fires so fast, and it's bullet, like, you have to understand bullet speed, guys. Bullet speed is literally the magic number. So the faster the gun fires is all great, but the faster the bullet speed is means you don't have to lead a target. So an AUG will do 937 meters a second, which is the fastest bullet speed on an AR in the game. M16A4 also does 937 meters a second. So when a target's running along or is in a car, and you've seen a lot of these sprays as people are in cars with the AUG, you don't have to lead it by as much. Now, that also means that if you have a gun that's incredibly accurate and has incredibly low recoil, you can set laser beams up where you're more or less just drawing a laser beam in front of the vehicle and letting them run into it. The AUG is just the best gun in the game at doing that. It really does allow you to run anything you want as a secondary slot weapon. You can run AUG and shotgun, you can run AUG and Kar 98, and be very, very comfortable that whatever you come up against in CQC, whether it be a Graza or even a shotgun or something like that, you've got a puncher's chance every single time. Because the AUG can catch up. It can just catch up. It dumps damage so quickly, it can just catch up. For instance, the time to kill a level 2 vents with an AUG is 0.243. The time to kill a level 2 vest with a Graza is 0.231. So you're looking at basically a tiny, tiny difference in the time to kill there. And yet the AUG can do everything else in the game that Graza can't. And it can do it so easily. You're really losing nothing in those kind of trades. The versatility on this gun, incredible. The fact that it's harder to find now, it used to just be in crates everywhere. And I don't understand why it took PUBG Mobile so long to balance out these 5.56 ARs. They really should have got there quicker. For the longest time, it was just weird that they didn't touch the AUG and it was in a crate, and yet they balanced the AKs and the M762s and everything else, and they pulled the M249 out of crates, and they pulled the M24 out of crates, and like they did all this tinkering around the edges, and they just left this thing sitting there because it was just slightly better on recoil and slightly better on bullet speed. It was a weird thing, if you ask me. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I'm really appreciating the comments and the feedback and the requests. I just played a big solo squad game on Livic because someone asked about solo squads, and I just did a video on solo squads, the rotations, and the nuts and bolts of it. And then I wanted to do another video breaking up squads. So I'll probably walk through that one this afternoon and we'll get that up on channel ASAP. And if you have any other questions or things you want to see looked at, we are doing a lot of stuff, right? And I've looked at all the comments and it's brilliant. There are so many people getting involved and so much engagement with the channel at the moment. In fact, it's kind of unprecedented. I've asked you guys for ideas and now you won't shut up. So that's great as far as I'm concerned. The more you talk, the happier I am. Anyway, that's the org. The Ayatollah of rock and roller, the absolute bomb. The queen of ARs as far as I'm concerned. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, do your level best just to hang out with your wang out and have a good time. And I'll be here for all your viewing pleasure with that daily content. Till next time, look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.